morning. What's up, man? This is the Mind Your Business podcast. Everyday Screaming Ninja podcast. And today we're gonna be reading, you feel me? Until I come up with some content to talk about that involves me minding my business because my name Bo and I don't know about nothing. Everybody got the right to defend themselves. That's my take on the thing. I don't know nothing about nothing. Ain't seen that. I can't even see that good. So I just ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You did. So today we're gonna be reading this book. You feel me? It's the it's a book by Bill Moyers. You know what I'm saying? Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth. And this is my first time reading and engaging. And I just want to teach academia, and to all the kids that want to learn how to read, that don't know how to read, that do know how to read, and they say we don't read no more as Americans and whatnot. So we're just gonna take our time and read together. Let's get into it. The I myth and I guess that's the one Roman numeral number one myth in the modern world. People say that what we're all seeking is meaningful life. I don't think that's what we really seeking. I think that we were seeking is an experience of being alive, so that our life experiences on the purely physical plane will have resonance with our own innermost being and reality, so that we actually feel the rapture of being alive. Chasing that feeling that you're thriving and enjoying what life has to present. That's how I would translate that. Moyers. Why myths? Why should we care about myths? What do they have to do with my life? Campbell. My first response would be go on, live your life. It's a good life. You don't need mythology. I don't believe in being interested in a subject just because it's said to be important. I believe in being caught by it somehow or other. But you may find that with a proper introduction, mythology will catch you. And so, what can it do for you if it does catch you? Now, let's check this out. One of our problems today is that we are not well acquainted with the literature of the spirit. We're interested in the news of the problems of the hour. Ooh, I'm gonna repeat that. That was hard right there. One of our problems today is that we are not well acquainted with the literature of the spirit. We're interested in the news of the day and the problems of the hour. My goodness, if that ain't true, goodness, I wish I can give myself a like on that. It used to be that the university campus was kind of hermetically sealed off area where the news of the day did not impinge upon your attention to the inner life and to the magnificent human heritage we have in our great tradition. Plato, Confucius, the Buddha, Goethe, and others who speak of the eternal vows that have to do with the centering of our lives. When you get to be older and the concerns of the day have all been attended to, and you turn to the inner life, well, if you don't know where it is or what it is, you'll be sorry. Greek and Latin biblical literature used to be part of everyone's education. Now, when there were dropped, a whole tradition of Occidental mythological information was lost. It used to be that these stories were in the minds of people. When the story is in your mind, then you see its relevance to something happening in your own life. It gives you perspective on what's happening to you. With the loss of that, we've really lost something because we don't have a comparable literature to take its place. I mean, if you can't see yourself within someone else's shoes or you can't visualize it and put engulf yourself in that world, then it doesn't really have any, it doesn't move you. These bits of information from ancient, and let me just speak on that real quick. What I just said, it doesn't move you. So when you see news clips of kids being blown up and whatnot, it probably won't move you because you never seen it if you can't put it in your own mind, you never seen that kind of suffering where a person can't eat and they gotta literally die of starvation, like get killed the slow way. It probably won't move you because you never been through no struggle. Anyway, let's keep it going. These bits of information from ancient times, which have to do with the themes that have supported human life, built civilizations and informed religions over the millennia, have to do with deep inner problems, inner mysteries, inner thresholds of passage. And if you don't, what the guide signs are along the way, you have to work it out yourself. But once this subject catches you, there is such a feeling from one another of these traditions, of information, of deep, rich life. You got to pardon me on this word, viva. I'm not even gonna try it. Sort that you don't want to give up. Moyers. So we tell stories to try to come to terms with the world, to harmonize our lives with the reality. Campbell. I think so, yes. Novels, great novels, can be wonderfully instructive. In my 20s and 30s, and even into my 40s, James Joyce and Thomas Mann were my teachers. I read everything they wrote. Both were writing in terms of what might be called the mythological traditions. Take, for example, the story of Tonio and Thomas Mann's Tonio Kroger. Tonio's father was a substantial businessman, major citizen in his hometown. Little Tonio, however, had an artistic temperament. So he moved to Munich and joined a group of literally people who felt themselves above the mere money earners and family men. So here is Tonio between two poles. His father, who was a good father, responsible and all of that, but who never did the thing he wanted to in all his life. Like make that, I guess, ultimate sacrifice and work for his family, but never pursue his personal dreams. And on the other hand, the one who leaves his hometown and become a critic of that kind of life. But Tonio found that he really loved these hometown people. And although he thought himself a little superior in an intellectual way to them and could describe them with cutting words, his heart was nevertheless with them. I can relate to that. But when he left to live with the Bohemians, he found that they were so disdainful of life that he couldn't stay with them either. So he left them and wrote a letter back to someone in the group saying, I admire those cold, proud beings who adventure upon the paths of great and daemonic beauty and despise mankind, but I do not envy them. For if anything is capable of making a poet of a literary man, it is my hometown love of the kindness and all humor indeed. I think I might have skipped some. Let me see. For anything is capable of making a poet of a literary man, it is my hometown love of the human, the living, and the ordinary. All warmth derives from this love, all love of which is written, that one may speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and yet lacking love, be as sounding brass or tinkling cymbal. And then he says the writer must be true or truth. And that's a killer because the only way you can describe a human being truly is by describing his imperfections. Oof. The only way you can describe a human being truly is by describing his imperfections. The perfect human being is uninteresting. Oh, you better tell it. The Buddha who leaves the world, you know, it is imperfections of life that are lovable. And when the writer sends a dart of true word, it hurts, but it goes with love. This is what man call erotic irony. The word of the day, erotic irony. The love for that which you are killing with your cruel and analytical word. Let me check out these comments real quick. Okay, we keeping it moving. Moyers, I cherish that image, my hometown love, the feeling you get for that place, no matter how long you've been away, or even if you never return. That was where you first discovered people. But why do you say you love people for their imperfections? Campbell, aren't children lovable because they're falling down all the time and have little bodies with the heads too big? Didn't Walt Disney know all about this when he did the Seven Dwarfs? And these funny little dogs that people have, they're lovable because they're so imperfect. Moyers, perfection would be a bore, wouldn't it? That's a fact, because everybody would be like each other. Campbell, it would have to be. It would be inhuman, the umbilical point, the humanity, the thing that makes you human and not supernatural and immortal. That's what's lovable. That is why some people have a very hard time loving God, because there's no imperfection there. You can be in awe, but there will not be real love. It's Christ on the cross that becomes lovable. Ooh. Hey, that was hard. Moyers, what do you mean? Campbell, suffering. Suffering is imperfection. Is it not? Moyers, the story of human suffering, striving, living. Campbell, and you've come into knowledge of itself, what it has to go through. Moyers, I came to understand from reading your books, The Mask of God, or The Hero with a Thousand Faces. For example, that what human beings have in common is revealed in myths. Myths are stories of our search through the ages of truth for meaning, for significance. We all need to tell our story and to understand our story. We all need to understand death and to cope with death. And we all need help in our passages from birth to life and then to death. We need for life to signify, to touch the eternal, to understand the mysterious, to find out who we are. Campbell. People say that what we're all seeking is meaning for life. I don't think that's what we're really seeking. I think that's what we're seeking is an experience of being alive. So that our life experiences on the, and let me, before I get into this is when people say life being meaningful and being purposeful. That's what he is basically explaining. I think that what we're seeking is an experience of being alive, so that our life experiences on a purely physical plane will have resonance with our own innermost being and reality, so that we actually feel the rapture of being alive. That's what it's all finally about. And that's what these clues help us to find within ourselves. Moyers, myths or clues? Campbell, myths are clues to the spiritual potentialities of the human life. Moyers, what we're capable of knowing and experience within? Campbell, yes. You change the definition of a myth from the search for meaning to the experience of meaning. Campbell, experience of life? The mind has to do with meaning. What's the meaning of a flower? There's a Zen story about a sermon of the Buddha in which he simply lifted a flower. There was only one man who gave him a sign with his eyes that he understood what he said. Now, the Buddha himself is called the One, thus come. There's no meaning. What's the meaning of the universe? What's the meaning of a flea? It's just there. That's it. And your own meaning is that you're there. We're so engaged in doing things to achieve purposes of outer value that we forget their inner value. The rapture that is associated with being alive is what it's all about. Moyer, how do you get that experience? Campbell, read myths. They teach you that you can turn inward and you begin to get the message of the symbols. Read other people's myths, not those of our own religion, because you tend to interpret your own religion in terms of facts. Ooh, that's how you educate yourself. You truly can't educate yourself if you just stuck on. You can believe in your God and not feel like I'm not reading right now. I'm just talking. You can educate your God. I mean, you can love your God and be devout to your God and be truly loyal to your God. But you owe it to yourself. It says it even in the Bible. Seek education, seek knowledge. If you don't seek knowledge and educate yourself with other people's myths and Bibles and what they believe as their spirituality, you could truly not have a full overall understanding of life in itself. Now back to the reading. Read myths. They teach you that you can turn inward and you can begin to get the message of the symbols. Read other people's myths, not those of your own religion, because you tend to interpret your own religion in terms of facts. But if you read the other ones, you begin to get the message. Myths help you put your mind in touch with this experience of being alive. It tells you what the experience is. Marriage, for example. What is marriage? The myth tells you what it is. It's the reunion of the separated duad. Originally, you were one. You are now two in the world. But the recognition of the spiritual identity is what marriage is. It's different from a love affair. It has nothing to do with that. It's another mythological plane of experience. When people get married because they think it's a long-time love affair, they'll be divorced very soon, because all love affairs end in disappointment. But marriage is recognition of spiritual identity. If we live a proper life, if our minds are on the right qualities in regarding the person of the opposite sex, we will find our proper male or female counterpart. But if we are distracted by certain sensuous interests, well, we'll marry the wrong person. By marrying the right person, we reconstruct the image of the incarnate God. And that's what marriage is. Moyers, the right person? How does one choose the right person? Campbell, your heart tells you it ought to. Moyers, your inner being? Campbell, that's the mystery. Moyers, you recognize your other self? Campbell, well, I don't know, but there's a flash that comes and something in you knows that this is the one. Moyers, if marriage is the reunion of the self, with male or female grounding of ourselves, why is it that marriage is so precarious in our modern society? Campbell, because it's not regarded as a marriage. I would say that if the marriage isn't a first priority in your life, you're not married. The marriage means the two that are one, the two become one flesh. If the marriage lasts long enough, and if you're acquiescent constantly to it instead of the two individual person whim, you'll come to realize that this is true. The two really are one. Moyers, one not only biologically but spiritually. Campbell, primarily spiritually. The biological is the distraction which may lead you to the wrong identification. Moyers, then the necessary function of marriage, perpetuating ourselves and children, is not the primary one. Meaning perpetuating ourselves and children, having children, letting these children perpetuate our being. Like children in this marriage. See, first of all, let's just use marriage as an adjective. My two fingers are divorced right now, right? Now they're married. So that's just the adjective form of marriage, meaning joining, making two become one. Well, nothing solidifies that like a child's birth, because we are two, but together we created one. So that's what this is ultimately saying. Perpetuating ourselves and children is not the primary one. Campbell, no, that's really just elementary aspect of marriage. There are two completely different stages of marriage. First is the youthful marriage, following the wonderful impulse that nature has given us in the interplay of the sexes biologically in order to produce children. But there comes a time when the child graduates from the family and the couple is left. That get deep. I've been amazed at the number of my friends who in their 40s or 50s go apart. Wow. Now, I hope y'all grasp what this saying is saying. People will stay, mind you, that child brought them together. You dig what I'm saying? Like, make me want to show my family real quick. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that child brings you together and bonds you. And oftentimes that child is enough to keep that marriage together because you guys find a commonality. And it's really fun being a family. I'm gonna just be honest. Like, it's fun, like being the head of a family and knowing that these mouths depend on you and they waiting to see you, and then whatever it might mean to her and then to the child to have their two parents in the household. This is fun for everybody. I would say that. Now let me get back to the point. But it's basically saying, translation, that when the kid leaves the household, now you got to get back to loving each other and being one. And oftentimes people struggle to do that. So let's get into it. No, that's really just the elementary aspect of marriage. There are two completely different stages of marriage. First is the youthful marriage, following the wonderful impulse that nature has given us in the interplay of the sexes biologically in order to produce children. But there comes a time when a child graduates from the family and a couple is left. I've been amazed at the number of my friends who in their 40s or 50s go apart. They have had a perfectly decent life together with the child, but they interpreted their union in terms of their relationship through the child. They did not interpret it in terms of their own personal relationship to each other. Marriage is a relationship. When you make the sacrifice in marriage, you're sacrificing not to each other, but to unity in the relationship. The Chinese image of the tail with the dark and light interacting, that's the relationship of yang and yin, male and female, which is what a marriage is. Shout out Yin Yang twins, by the way. And that's what you have to become when you have married. You're no longer this one alone. Your identity is in a relationship. Your identity is in the relationship. Like, you see yourself as this husband and you're tied to this image so much. Marriage is not a simple love affair. It's an ordeal. And the ordeal is the sacrifice of ego to a relationship in which two have become one. Moyers. So marriage is utterly incompatible with the idea of doing one's own thing. Campbell, it's not simply one's own thing. You see it? It is, in a sense, doing one's own thing, but the one isn't just you. It's the two together as one. And that's purely mythological image signifying the sacrifice of the visible entity for a transcendent good. This is something that becomes beautifully realized in the second stage of marriage, what I call the alchemical stage of the two experiencing that they are one. If they are still living as they were in the primary stage of marriage, they will go apart when their children leave. That means they never grew into marriage. They just stayed docile or stayed neutral in understanding that they had this commonality with this child, but they never grew into their love. Anyway, Daddy will fall in love with some little noble girl and run off. And mother will be left with an empty house and heart and will have to work it out on her own in her own way, and vice versa. That's because we don't understand the two levels of marriage. Campbell, you don't make a commitment. Moyers, we presume too we make a commitment for better or worse. Campbell, that's the remnant of a ritual. Moyers, and the ritual has lost its force. The ritual that once conveyed an inner reality is now merely form. Meaning people are so, I'm going to interpret it as, people are, I'm not reading, I'm going to just keep that as a pause, keep my hand there. People are so in love with the ideal of being married. Like, let's just talk about women. I think women push marriage more than a man because women want to feel validated. Oh, I'm a wife, girl. Look at the ring he put on my hand. This and that. They're in love with the ideal more than it being something that is from the spirit that is drawn to find their duality, their the other part of them, their other half, their true other half. Instead of making that their primary commitment is to be married. That's it. More so they value the marriage itself over the actual completion of finding that perfect yin to their yang. Okay, here you go. And the ritual has lost its force. The ritual that once conveyed an inner reality is now merely form. And that's true in the rituals of society and in the personal rituals of marriage and religion. Campbell, how many people before marriage receive spiritual instruction as to what the marriage means? You can stand up in front of a judge and in 10 minutes get married. The marriage ceremony in India lasts 3 days. That couple is glued. Let's talk about it. I ain't seen no Indian people get divorced. When the last Indian couple you met got divorced? I've known Indian couples that got arranged as an arranged marriage as teenagers and they in their 50s and 60s. You don't hear about it. Because and look what he said, the wedding lasts 3 days. This ain't no wham bam, thank you, ma'am. I can't wait to hit it tonight on the honeymoon. This is a 3-day affair. If it don't go right on the 3rd day, you're not my wife. This takes time. It's courting. Warriors. You're saying that marriage is not just a social arrangement, it's a spiritual exercise? Which most definitely is. I'm going to speak on that. Of course, that's why I ain't never even attempted to get married in my 20s, because if I make a vow before God and you make me look like a fool in front of my God, I might got to send you to my God. So I ain't never even want to be in front of my God because I don't believe in no divorce, period. We really stuck like Chuck. We get married, we might as well play Kevin Gates at the wedding. We supposed to be in love. Ain't no leaving me. Ain't no divorcing me. And I ain't divorcing you no matter for better or for worse. That part. Campbell. Matter of fact, I think we'll end it there for right now. I think that was a good little reading. Let me talk about it. Let me see. I thought this was going to be a route live. You thought wrong, brother. You thought wrong. And let me see. Lynn Zero, what's in there? I love God too. I love Jesus. It's a beautiful thing, baby. And I just want to say, man. Now I'm gonna show the reader. I want to thank everybody that tuned in from abroad. I want to thank YouTube for sponsoring this and hosting me and allowing me to convey my feelings and thoughts. And I did a video I'm gonna be putting up. It's gonna be it's now this ain't got nothing to do with nothing I just read, but it's gonna talk about being from South Florida and valuing the simple things in life. Meaning, like I seen that they was talking about Young Miami had people was trying to troll her for having like some disposable cups, and I made a video showing that I just made some lemonade out of an apple juice container. I put grease inside of jelly jars. I got Wendy's cups right now in there. Like, what's the point? Like, I mean, we throw away so much stuff. First of all, just look at it from just an environmental standpoint. Plastic is not disposable. It's not biodegradable. So you really can reuse it over and over and over. And if I could get the most usage out of it, what's the point? Like, who has China sets anymore? Don't get me wrong, I have actual real plates, but for what? There's no need. And plates break. I don't want to break no plate because I done broke so many plates coming up. So I often find times to reuse anything that I got. If I can make it, if I choose to cut that plastic container open and make it a flower pot, I'll do so because that's just what you. I think us people, we gotta understand this, man. I'm just talking about of the culture, and especially Black America. I seen a couple recycle. They call it upcycling, and they was redoing. I like watching HGTV and stuff, fixing up houses, all that, right? So this couple took some motorcycle lights and they used them as shuttle lights. You feel me? And they took a old bowling alley, the floor of a bowling alley, and they made it a countertop. I said, look at this, that's art, that's creativity. Like right now, as a stand, I got my first speakers in life. My first speakers. I got, let me show you these speakers real quick. Hold on, let me get close up on it. These the first speakers I ever had in my life, cuz like one thing about it, cuz, and they still work. But it's a dresser now. It's a stand. You feel me? Them speakers right there was in my Pontiac way back in the days. Them speakers right there older than most of the people that probably come. Them speakers literally are 20 years old. 20 years old. So, dog, God is good, bro, because I've been able to hold on to that for 20 years. Like, I think about even my cars. I wish I would have held on to every car I ever had and instead of sell it and just wait to fix it up. But I didn't have no property. See, I didn't understand the importance of property. And then, and all this stuff, I didn't understand that. I was a fool. And then you learn, like shout out to Charlemagne. He said on the Breakfast Club, I think it was Corinthians. I can't think of the exact verse, but when I was a child, I thought like a child. I did childish things. You feel me? And as you become into yourself and become a man, you start to realize the key principles and values of life. And I'm still learning. I'm forever learning. I'm always, this is, life is college. And I'm always learning and learning. And that's what I want to try to transition this channel to. Even right here, what's going on behind me? This is a walkway, but I just hung up a blanket. Eventually, I'm gonna put some glass doors there, but that's not on the top of my agenda right now. You feel me? And that's why I thank God that He can just keep God in my mind and my life. Oh yeah, and finish up my point about the Young Miami thing. You do your thing, baby girl. You know what where you've come from in life. You know that the people that are trying to judge you are the people, nepo babies, who had nannies and stuff like that. When you from the struggle, even when you're not struggling, you do things that you incorporated in your life that you find suitable. So I find it very suitable, like I said, to have a Wendy's cup. Let me just give y'all some examples. I might not even put the video up. I just do some examples real quick. Give a quick example. This was a jelly jar. This thing I got recycled to keep my grease in it. When I cook and I got some grease from it, and I want to get that flavor, that real flavor, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's a southern thing. I want to get that real flavor. That's my jelly jar. This. Let's look at the little dish pit real quick. Hey, what you mean I'm supposed to just throw this away and then go to sit in some dump when I can reuse it? Are you kidding me? This, I can eat all the cereal I want. What bowl can I go buy that's this damn big? You feel me? This is what hamburger meat came in, or chicken, or whatever the hell came in. I could put especially when I cook rice, my rice going here to go in the refrigerator. What else? What is the example? Let's see if we got anything active. Now look, I got real cups, you feel me? But what's the difference between this plastic cup and the Wendy's plastic cup? Jesus Christ. So good. What else? What else can we? Let's see. see what else we got down here. Now, this is applesauce. But when this applesauce is finished, this is my next glass jar. And I don't understand how we get criticized for this, because it ain't just a black thing. Because you got people that used to make marmalades, old white women that make marmalades and that. You feel me? So like, how the hell? This was apple juice, and then I turned it into lemonade. After I finished the apple juice, poured some water in it, took me some lemon juice and some sugar, and made that, converted that. You feel me? If I wanted to, I could cut this in half, and it'd be a flower pot. But I got enough flower pots, so forget that. Point is, it's about doing your part as a human, upcycling, and being responsible. You did, and that's what it's about, man. And I appreciate Young Miami for keeping it real. And don't let me have no styrofoam soup cup. They done stop making soup cups out of styrofoam. I don't know why it's hard to find styrofoam soup cups these days. They got it in these little paper little containers. I miss the styrofoam. I had them for forever. I promise you, because that's real styrofoam, big, thick, nice styrofoam. Hold your ice all cold and stuff like that. So God is good, man. I just had to go ahead and jump in the algorithm, and I wanted to say, man, to all the trolls, just try to occupy your time better. You feel me? Like I'm gonna give a perfect example. The YML Bankroll who came in. He's a troll. He came in talking about he thought this was gonna be a rap live. Why would you think it's gonna be a rap live on a Sunday morning, bro? This the Sabbath day. If I ain't rapping for God or saying nothing that is of substance, then what have you? This is Sunday, fam. I did a whole hour of rap the other day. Nobody was digging it. You was probably scrolling through like, forget this clown, like you would have did if I was rapping. So we just gotta understand in life. I guess this is what it's supposed to be, right? This is what I was just talking about with mythological things. We gotta have a yang. If the world was perfect, we wouldn't have trolls. So trolls are a necessity, because they're the ones that gauge, that make you say, damn, I'm doing something right, because this person's sent here to stop me or try to divert me, or either increase my faith or increase my belief in myself. You feel me? So I just want to say, everybody, man, God bless. It's a beautiful overcast day. I'm gonna lay back in peace, I'm gonna try to catch up on all my video games, and thank God for just being alive, cause that part. Y'all take care.